What's up YouTube, Dale here from Zephyr, and today I'm bringing you an update post-Alliance Insight to Eldlich. That's right, Eldlich got two brand new cards in this set and they are both incredibly cheap. One of them being an ultra rare in the form of the Fallen Angel of the Golden Land, and another one being a super rare in the form of a brand new Eldlich card. I'll talk you through those cards in detail when we get to them, but I'm going to show you the main deck, the extra deck, and of course a demo side deck so that you have an idea of what you're going to be looking to put together in order to put this deck together and compete. So, with all of that out of the way, please smash that like button, hit that notification bell, and subscribe so you don't miss out on any more upcoming content. So, just as a disclaimer, I have decided to go with a pure-ish version of this deck, and what I mean by that is you still use some outside influence cards, but there's no kind of additional engines. There's no additional ways of being able to go, okay, cool, I'm going to play Eldlich with Fiendsmiths, I'm going to be playing Eldlich with like Kashtira's or anything like that. You are just going back to the old school roots of Eldlich being a control style deck, utilizing an insanely powerful boss monster in the form of Eldlich the Golden Lord. So for those of you that are unfamiliar with the Eldlich strategy, it all revolves around the Golden Lord itself. So you get to send this card and one spell and trap from your hand to the graveyard to target a card on the field and send it to the graveyard. If this card is in the graveyard, you get to send a spell or trap you control to the graveyard, add this card to the hand. Then you get to special on a zombie monster from the hand, and if you do until the end of your opponent's turn, it gains 1000 attack and defense and can't be destroyed by card effects. So the idea is you're going to be able to add the Golden Lord, summon down the Golden Lord, and it's a 3500 beta, and you're able to get more of these on the field because you're going to be able to get it from the deck off the back of the older Eldlich being Scarlet Sanguine. We're then, of course, playing free Cursed Eldland, so you cannot declare attacks except with zombies, which is absolutely fine because you're even going to lock yourself down into zombies a little bit, but it's only while this card is face up on the field. So you get to pay 800 life points to add an Eldlich monster or a Golden Land spell or trap from the deck to the hand. If this card is sent from the spell and trap zone to the graveyard, you get to send an Eldlich monster or a Golden Land spell and trap for the deck to the grave. We are then playing the one Eldlich of White Destiny and the one Eldlich of Black Awakening. So the Eldlich of White Destiny lets you special summon a zombie from the hand or grave, but if you do not control no Eldlich monsters, you can only special summon Eldlich monsters with the effect, which is absolutely fine because that's all you're going to be doing. For the rest of the turn, after this card resolves, you can't special summon monsters except zombies, again, not a big issue. And then during your main phase, you get to banish this card from the graveyard to then set a Golden Land spell or trap directly from the deck, but you can only use one of the effects per turn, so either revive or set. The Eldlich of Black Awakening lets you special summon a zombie from the hand or deck in defense, but if you control no Eldlich monsters, you can only special summon an Eldlich monster with this effect, which is absolutely fine. After this resolves, you can't special summon except zombies. You can banish this card from the grave to set a Golden Land spell or trap directly from the deck, and you can only use one effect per turn. So the idea is this is a quick effect, and the reason I quite like this is it lets you special from the hand or grave, and one thing you need to be very careful of, which is what's made this deck slightly weaker, is because Eldlich the Golden Lord is a light, it is just a massive target for bestials, and especially when you're looking at the Malice strategy right now as well, when it goes through White Binder, they're always going to target to banish this Eldlich the Golden Lord, so you need to have ways of being able to get it back from the grave so that it can't be banished on a consistent basis, especially when a lot of your traps get additional effects once they have Eldlich the Golden Lord in rotation, and that's where it gets very helpful in order to kind of utilize the brand new card as well, because this will ultimately end up leading you to the Golden Lord one way or another. Then we do play free Conquistador, so this is the one that special summons as a normal monster, zombie light level 5, 500 attack and 1800 defense. It is also still a trap, but if you control Eldlich the Golden Lord, you get to destroy a face-up card on the field. During the end phase, you get to banish this card from the graveyard to set an Eldlich spell or trap from your deck, but banish it. Sorry, you can banish this card from the graveyard, set an Eldlich spell and trap directly from the deck. You can only use one Conquistador effect per turn. So obviously the idea is that during your opponent's turn, you're going to pop a card. During your turn, you're going to be able to set another follow-up, which will obviously lead you into an Eldlich, which previously to this, you only really utilized the Sanguine, which lets you special summon a zombie monster from your deck or graveyard, but if you control no Eldlich monsters, you can only special summon Eldlich monsters, and the rest of the turn after this effect resolves, you can't special summon monsters except zombies. Banish it from the graveyard to set a Golden Land spell or trap from the deck from the deck. You can only use one effect per turn. And the reason that this was the first one, and now we get even more benefits from because we're able to access the other Eldlich in the form of the glorious Golden Land, it now means you have another target to go for. So you get to pay 800 life points to then activate one of these effects. Special on this card as a normal monster, zombie light level 10, which is really important, being 1500 attack and 2800 defense. The benefit of that one is as it is a level 10, it then just makes your routes to your rank 10 plays even more consistent. Then if you have Eldlich the Golden Lord, you get to return non-target one monster from the field to the hand. The other effect is you get to set one of your banished Golden Lands or Eldlich spell and traps. You can only use each effect once per turn. So the idea is what you'd like to kind of ideally do is during your opponent's turn, use the second effect to reset one of your banished golden lands or elixirs. And then during your turn, you special summon this. And then that's when you're going to be able to obviously push through for more damage and then move in for like Gustav Max and push into an OTK. The other golden land we are playing is 2 of the Yugioh. So this one you special summon it as a normal, 1800 attack, 1500 defense, so it's a little bit more aggressive. You get to banish it, if you control golden land, you get to banish 1 card from your opponent's graveyard. And then during the end phase, you banish this card to set an Eldlich spell trap directly from the deck, but you can only use 1 effect per turn. And obviously, like I said, doubling up your Eldlich access is always going to be much more helpful. Of course, you do have access to your other Eldlichs, which are, once I recycle them, your spell cards. But really, I actually really do like this card, and I think it's a great addition to the deck because this is obviously another way and an easier way to get into this guy as well. And then we do play the 1 golden land forever, which is basically your counter trap card. So when a spell trap or monster effect is activated while you control a Eldlich monster, you tribute a zombie monster and negate the activation if you do destroy that card. Even more synergy with this card as well. Then for the supporting kind of cards, I am playing the free Inspector border. This is entirely up to you. You can take this out if you want to. But as you've noticed, you don't even use a normal summon. So this could be any normal summon you want it to be. It can also be Free Lord of the Heavenly Prisons. It could be Lava Golem. It could be Super Poly. It could be main decking of stuff like your Ultimate Slayers. It really is entirely up to you. It could be 3 more hand traps. The idea behind something like this is you just get to go, cool, normal standby, main, normal summon, Inspector border. Keeping in mind that you can't normal or special it. If you control a monster, but neither player can activate monster effects unless the number of monster effects that player has previously activated that turn is less than the number of monster card types on the field. Ritual, Fusion, Synchro, Exordio, Pendulum, and Link. Basically what that means is neither player can activate monster effects unless there is a Fusion, a XYZ, a Ritual, or a Link monster on the field. So what makes this so good in your one is you go normal summon Inspector border. Absolutely fine. You get to summon out something like the Elixir of the Glorious Lands or any of your zombie monsters. And then, as long as you've got a Golden Lord in rotation, whether it be in the grave or on the field, you then turn it into a Fallen Angel. And then your Inspector border lets you use 1 effect. So then that can be your Golden Lord. So you bring back your Golden Lord. You're going to end up with an Inspector border, Golden Lord, and then of course you can also have your Angel. So it's just a very nice stun card. It means your opponent can't ash your plays. It means they can't draw your plays. It really can be very awkward for them. But again, you can sub this out for a personal preference. I'm then backing the deck up with 2 Trill Tactics Thrust. The reason for this one is I've got a couple of targets in the main deck. So for consistency, of course, you can work your way into a Pot of Prosperity. You can work your way into a Trill Tactic Talent. You can also work your way into a Terraforming. And the Terraforming itself can work you into a Delta, which is obviously going to be even more synergy with the brand new card as well. And it can also work you into a Sanguine. But the reason that Delta is so good is that when this card is activated, you send a level 5 or higher zombie from the deck to the grave. So obviously straight away, that's your Golden Lord straight into the graveyard where you want it. You can only use each of the following effects once per turn. If a zombie monster is on the field, you get to special on a Delta token, Zombie Dart level 5, attack 0, defense 0. If a monster or monsters is added from the grave to the hand while this card is in the graveyard, except during a damage state, you get to add this card to the hand. Now the benefit is if you want to utilize that token even more, you'll start looking at other zombie monsters for your extra deck. That's when you're going to start looking into stuff like maybe Vampire Sucker. You could also look into the Reverend Dread Savior. You can look into some rank 5 plays as well, except for you can't use the token on this one, but the one thing you can do for your rank 5 plays is use your Yugioh and your Conquistador. So there are just other options you can look at, but mainly what you're going to use this as is a Foolish Barrel to send your Golden Lord, and then obviously it's a free spell on the field that you can send and then bring the Golden Lord back. So it works out really nicely. We're then playing 2 Apophis, the Swamp Deity. Now the reason you can play this is you are playing the Silo Hat Rabbit in the extra deck, but what you've also got to remember is this will negate cards up to the number of other continuous traps you control. So ideally when you're playing this, you could end up with your Golden Land, you can also end up with Yugioh, and you can also end up with your Conquistador. So you can actually negate quite a lot. I did highly consider playing the other Apophis Serpent because you'd ideally set that off of the Silo Hat Rabbit, and then that would work you into a guarantee of having another continuous, because if you just have this, you're not negating anything. Whereas if you have the other Apophis Serpent, you can summon that, set this can be activated the same turn, and it just gives you another way of disrupting your opponent. But I kind of opposed against it for now, but it's definitely a card you could very easily fit in. Then for the hand traps, we've gone with triple Effect Veiler, triple Ash Blossom, and triple Imperm. I would very much like to use something like a Dominus Purge in this one, but the biggest issue is your brand new extra deck monsters are darks, which is quite annoying. So if I activate Purge from the hand, I can't use my dark effects, and the dark effects are actually really quite good. So that's it for the entire main deck. Moving on to the extra deck. So let's talk about the brand new card, the Fallen Angel of the Golden Land. Now I'm choosing to play 2 of this. If you do want to play 2 of this, you can also play 2 of the Mad Golden Lord. But I actually just really like this card. I think it's kind of a cool rotation. So it must either be fusion summoned or special summoned from the extra deck by attributing one light zombie monster while you have Eldlich the Golden Lord in the field or the graveyard. So very easy to do that. If you wanted to fusion summon it, it requires Eldlich the Golden Lord plus a zombie monster. The benefit of something like this one is you can only get special on it once per turn, but no matter which method you use. If this card is sent from the field to the graveyard, no matter how, you get to special summon an Eldlich monster from the deck, extra deck, or graveyard. So again, it's another way of bringing back your Golden Lord or getting Golden Lord from the deck if you want to get a second one in rotation. But it does also mean you can get Eldlich the Mad Golden Lord. So this card's name becomes Eldlich the Golden Lord while on the field. It can't be destroyed by battle or card effect. You can tribute a zombie monster to target a face-up monster your opponent controls and take control of it. It can't attack or activate effects this turn, but you're basically just snatched in your opponent's monster with a 3800 semi-towers, which can really kind of cause them a few issues. So I do quite like this idea. This is why you could very afford to play 2 of this if you wanted to, but my idea is that the first time this one goes, I'm going to go into the first Mad Golden Lord, and then the second one will just get me into an Eldlich or a Golden Lord, and it's one of these ones that I don't want my opponent to snipe this, so I don't mind playing 2 of it, and it's all relatively cheap right now. The other fusion that I'm playing is the Divine Serpent Apophis. What I like about this is the fact that I can tribute off, if I do get both of my Apophis to Swamp Deities on the field, and I do enter in a bit of a grind game, I could tribute off both the Swamp Deities, get into the Divine Serpent Apophis, and then set these both back to the field. So then I'm recycling my negates, pretty much outgrinding my opponent on that scenario, and then getting additional pops off of the back of it. Don't have to play it. You can swap it out for a Typhon. You can swap it out for the Pallades if you wanted to. They're just other options you can consider. We are then also playing 1 Super Dreadnought Rail Cannon Gustav Max and the Juggernaut Lebel. You probably don't need to play the Lebel. You can probably just play 2 Gustav Max. But as we've already seen, the fact that the tokens are level 10 now makes this even easier to make. But more times than not, you're probably also going to be utilising, or technically you could utilise your Fallen Angel. But then on top of that, you can also use 2 of your Golden Lords. And the other is your Golden Lords will both attack at looking at around about 7k. At the very least, it can be 6k. And then your final 2k will be your Super Dreadnought Rail Cannon Gustav Max. So, 1 Varudras. You kind of need to make this if you're worried about Dusters and Evenleys and Lightning Storms, which is something that will very much come up. And you'll see some of my counter protections for that in the side deck. But you can also very easily make the Varudras. The biggest issue is, by the time you make the Varudras, you're not going to be making this turn 1, or you're going to zombie lock yourself, or you're just going to be in a very awkward position in order to kind of resolve this. So it's one of the ones where, again, you could very easily afford not to play it. Because I think on the aggressive manner, if you're going second and you've got your 2 level 10s to make a rank 10, you're probably going to be going for Gustav Max more than you are Varudras. Unless you feel your opponent has a battle effect that you want to deal with, then you'd make the Varudras. For the Link monsters, we've got the 1 Flying Mary. So this one requires 2 zombie monsters. You get to target one of your level 5 or higher zombie monsters that is banished or in the graveyard. Place this card into the spell and trap zone as a face-up continuous spell, and if you do, special summon that monster. While this card is a continuous spell, you get to target a level 5 or higher zombie you control, destroy a monster your opponent controls with less attack than that, or equal to that monster. You can use each effect once per turn. So obviously this is a great Link monster that lets you recycle once your Golden Lord is banished, but you don't want to be relying this on heavily, which is why you have main deck options and you've got this extra deck option. You can very easily double this up if you wanted to. It's ideally best in this particular scenario, or like Eldlich build, rather than it is just pure zombies. It has a bit more synergy, but that's just something to be aware of. We're then playing 2 Silla Hat Rabbits. Obviously, the ability to be able to set a continuous trap card that can summon itself is really important, and then being able to destroy back row as it when you summon those can be very, very helpful. SP Little Knight, liner to steal one of your opponent's blue eyes and goes into SP Little Knight. 1 Link Spider to turn something like your Conquistador or Huequero, get it off the field, get it in the graveyard so that you can banish it and set an Eldlich. And then your 2 targets for our side deck card of Ultimate Slayer being the Adjugator and the Garura. So you're covered with Links already, you're covered. The only thing you're not covered with is Synchros. So if your environment does involve Synchro monsters, then you'd make sure you put a Synchro target in here. But the other is you're pretty much covered with everything you need to worry about. Moving on to the side deck. So for the side deck, I've got 3 Lord and the Heavenly Prisons. You can very easily play Judgment if you want to. That is another good option. What I quite like about Lord is the reveal of it can actually make it quite awkward. And the one benefit that I went above this over Judgment is that Judgment will only stop the first thing. If my opponent opens up multiple interruptions, like a Lightning Storm and a Duster, that can get a little bit awkward. If they're trying to pick off my spells and traps bit by bit, having a Lord revealed, it means I can leave this until the last possible minute. I will then start picking apart my opponent's field, and then when I want to, I can summon down the Lord, and then Lord will get me access to either a follow-up card for the next turn in order to push for the OTK, or it can get me to a trap card that I might want to utilize, or a floodgate, or anything along those lines. But it's mainly in here to protect from Duster and everything else, which is why it's in the side and not in the main. Draw a Lockbird, Lancer, pretty much the hand traps or the format right now. Harpy's Feather Duster, and then other thrust targets. So for going second, we've got Slayer, Duster, and Lightning Storm, technically evenly matched as well. And then for going first, we've got the Daruma Cannon and Sanctum. Of course, you can play Dimension Barrier. Another card that I would love to highly consider is Lava Golem, just because you go, cool, take out Inspector Border, put in Lava Golem. But it's just finding the space for them. I'm not too sure what I would want to take out in order for that right now this minute. So that's pretty much it for the entire list. I feel that you can upgrade the ceiling of this deck as well. I don't feel that it needs to be played at pure. I just quite like at this exact moment in time to kind of present you guys with pure versions of a deck like this. So then what you can do is you can see exactly what's required, and then you can adapt it as you see fit to the type of play styles that you want to add to it. If you're like, oh, I'd rather add Fiend Swift to it, then you can do. I'm not saying that's the best hybrid, but that's just kind of like the engine that everyone's like, oh, just add that to it, or add that to it. And I'm like, well, yeah, you can. But then like, how far are you really going? I do love the new additions to this deck. I think the new additions are absolutely amazing. The only thing I'm really missing is another main deck Eldlich monster, but I don't know if you'd want like a Squire of the Golden Lord or something. Like Eldlich the Golden Lord is the Lord. So I think the only thing you could possibly have off the back of that would be like a Queen or like a follower, like a Jester or a like a servant kind of thing, and I feel that's when you'd want to utilize it as that normal summon of an Eldlich deck. That's kind of where you'd want it to be a lower level. You'd go normal summon this Eldlich monster. It could be very basic. You'd search out what you need to and go from there. Anyway, thank you so much for watching. If you do have any questions at all, by all means, please put in the comments down below. I will be more than happy to answer them. For now, as absolutely always, stay safe and of course, happy dueling.